What's up, Phoenix Suns Nation? Game 70 is in the books. And yes, we are in the 70s. 12 games left to go, and your Phoenix Suns are on a two-game winning streak, taking down the Atlanta Hawks at Footprint Center, 128-115. Be sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. This is your post-game show with the Valley Boys.
Personally, I feel like that brother needed help.
Devin Booker with the clutch three.
Dang, man, technical difficulties. I nailed that intro too. I felt it. If you don't know, this is Central Standard Time for me. I'm not in Phoenix. And so it is currently 12:15 in the morning here in Arkansas, where I'm watching the Phoenix Suns. And they got to win. And Ashton, what time is it in Phoenix right now?
It is currently 10 after.
Right on. And right off the bat, shout out to Baxter in the chat. He's lighting us up. He's putting www. Baxter, yes, we are hyped up with you, man. Thank you so much for watching and being active in the chat. Yes, the Phoenix Suns go on. They're on a two-game winning streak. Can you believe it? We are so back. We are so back, putting the league on notice.
We are officially 2-0 in the IT era. He was the game changer all along. Who knew it? We're 2-0.
His leadership and his presence on the bench is obviously undefeated. He has led this team to 2 straight wins. Man, what's your biggest takeaways from this game, Ashton? Go at it.
Oh my, you already said the word in your last statement. The bench came in big. I've been waiting for a game like this all season. I can't wait to dive into this.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, a lot of different things that we can talk about, but the frickin' bench finally came alive. Look, I said it a couple of post games ago. The vision for Nurkic has come alive, and he's playing some of the best basketball he's been playing the past couple of weeks. There's been a specific vision that James Jones and Frank Vogel have set out. You can throw Matt Ishbia in there as well, that they had for this bench to come alive, and that when they can click, they will click. I swear to God, if this bench can play this way for the remainder of the season and take this into the postseason, we are so back. We are so back. I'm serious though. Like, we all knew, like Bol could have one night. We all knew Eric Gordon could have one night. We all knew, like, we've seen that. But to see it, like, it was like freaking Thanos getting all of the Infinity Stones and seeing it at one time. You're right. Which one stood out to you the most? Which of the bench performances stood out to you?
This is actually a tough question. This is the hardest question I've ever been asked on the show. Oh man, I actually don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, let's break it down. You think about it. Let's break it down. So Eric Gordon, 24 minutes off the bench, 21 points. You got Drew Eubanks, a solid contribution, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Then you got Royce O'Neal getting into the mix as well, 14 points, hit a bunch of threes, and then Bol, as usual, giving you valuable minutes, 11 total tonight, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And really small lineup that Vogel went with tonight. He didn't go too deep in the bench, which I'm a huge fan of. Like, obviously you didn't need to, but like I like not playing as many players. If you count how many players they played tonight, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. They only played 9 players tonight. And like, it wasn't because they weren't healthy. I think Nasir Little is still out and Josh Okogie's still out. Actually, I think Little may be back, but Okogie's out. But like, it wasn't because they were unhealthy. Like, Vogel said, look, I'm going to play these guys. And for the most part, despite the crap show first quarter, I was like, this is pretty good. Like the guys seem to be gelling well together. Well, I use that word lightly, but Ashton, take it away. I mean, who stood out to you?
But I'm sorry. You lost me when you complimented Eubanks's game by calling him solid. Solid is not what this was a masterpiece. I have not been this hyped for a game in so long. Eubanks, massive 3 block. I don't know why I got so hyped for him, but like maybe it was just a mix of like he's been so garbanzo this entire season. This was the Eubanks legacy game. And I'm happy to call it. When he made those 3 huge blocks and had decent minutes, there wasn't a single minute in this game where I was like, yeah, Eubanks, take him out. Like, I never said that through this whole game. In fact, it went so far to where, like, Clint Capella was causing huge problems for Nurkic tonight. I actually think Eubanks did a lot better than Nurkic this game.
Wow. Yeah. I could see that. I think Nurkic was a little bit out of his element. Capella's just he's a tough matchup, and Eubanks is very stout. He's very, he can be very physical. So I could see that because with Nurkic, if we take a look at his stats, Nurkic had 10 rebounds, 7 points, 2 assists, struggled a lot, in my opinion, from the free throw line. But yeah, I would, and I think this is, so obviously Suns Nation is very critical of Drew Eubanks. They don't like him. They think Vogel plays him too much. Do you think this is the game that might set people back and be like, maybe Eubanks is useful?
Knowing how the fan base has worked this season, where it's been major overreaction, yes, everyone is turning their heads towards the Eubanks. They're joining the Eubanks party, and we're going to ride this ride until it sinks and crashes against the Spurs.
Yeah.
I mean, I did write in my notes that Eubanks owns Clint Capella. And I could say that because we won.
Yes. But it's going to be interesting because I think, in my opinion, like Bol has to, if we're moving, looking at San Antonio this coming weekend, I think you got to bring Bol out. I think you got to play him more. Because I just don't see how Eubanks is going to have any kind of advantage against Wembanyama, or anyone that they have over there. And like Bol wasn't who he was earlier in the season when the Spurs took the 2 games from us in October. So, let him loose. Bol was great tonight. I love watching him. He's at the point where he's just maximizing his minutes. Like if Bol can give you like a good 10, 15 minutes, like he's done his job. And I think he did that tonight as well.
Yeah. And, being in Phoenix, we're used to droughts, but the Eric Gordon drought is over. We've waited long enough, and he was electric tonight. I've been complimenting Eubanks right now. Eubanks and Gordon had a lot of connection, strangely, this game. Like, I remember writing down a specific play where Eubanks did some great defense, grabbed the rebound, 2 hands for once, which this team doesn't know how to grab a rebound. He tosses out, someone else gets it, and then he tosses it to Gordon, and he gets the transition 3.
Yeah. Yeah, so what I saw too, like I think when you watch the Suns so much like we do, like I've seen mostly every game this year. There's little nuances that you begin to like pick up later in the season. And I think the bench is very fun to watch. I feel like the bench has more hustle, and I don't know, maybe they just feel like they have more to prove and like more to figure out. And so when the bench comes in, you get this explosion game like you do tonight, And I was trying to look for the numbers, but they said it on the broadcast tonight. I think we outscored Atlanta's bench like 47-27 or something like that. It was in the 40s versus the 20s. And I think, to get a little bit more serious, I think that's the problem. You know how I always say that the Suns are consistently inconsistent? I think that's the problem. I think the problem is everyone else on the squad is doing their job. All the role players are doing their best to maximize their time and their position. But there's 3 players that don't have that same mindset every single night. So hold on. So let me tell you, let me ask you a question. Yeah. Nurkic and Grayson Allen have already exceeded our expectations. Like that's so true. Like they've already exceeded what we wanted them to do. And they're playing at such a high level these past couple of weeks. If I would have told you that at the beginning of the season, you'd be like, oh my gosh, we would have more than 40 wins at this point. Maybe coming up on 50 at this point. But no, it's the big 3. It's like they don't know which one. It's still hard to like pinpoint exactly. But like turnovers is still a problem. And I hate that the fact it's not like the other team is playing hard defense on you and it's causing these turnovers. It's dumb, stupid turnovers, one-handed passes, forced passes, and then that's the reason why you get in the hole in the first quarter. And I'm telling you right now, it can fly against the Philadelphia 76ers because they don't have Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris. It could fly against the Atlanta Hawks tonight because they don't have Trae Young. And it almost caught up to you in that first quarter. But when you go to the playoffs and when you play the teams that you're about to here in the next coming weeks, Denver, OKC, New Orleans, Cleveland, Minnesota, the Clippers twice, Sacramento. Like if you continue to play this way and start off that way to start games, like that's not a championship DNA. That's not the type of basketball that wins you games in the playoffs. And I'm so sick and tired of it. And the big 3 just needs to be better. Because I'm not going to base my championship hopes on the fact that the bench and the role players are going to carry us. Like I know there's going to be hot and cold nights with them. But what I do expect and where the money goes is I do expect the big 3, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker, to bring their A game every single night. Because they're stars. They're superstars. There's a higher standard. And I need that from them for the last 12 games. They need to step up. They need to be consistently great because that's who they are. At least that's what we've been led to believe. That's how much we're paying them to hope for. And that's my little rant. Wow. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, it's such a tricky situation. We really want them to all be super great, but then injuries start happening and like they all come out and it's like, man, we could have used this extra chemistry time together. But yeah, it's better that we get it out, like you said, right now, make those stupid turnovers right now than against those other playoff teams.
Yeah. So a little bit of a shakeup in the NBA standings, and I'm sure we won't see the fruit of it until tomorrow. Kings lost. And the Kings lost to the freaking Wizards out of all teams. And that shakes things up. I imagine with the Suns win, the Suns would move from the 8th seed to the 7th seed because the Kings would be 40-29 and the Suns would be 41-29 with their win tonight. The Mavericks would stay at the 6th seed because they do have the tiebreaker over the Suns for the season series. So, that, and then obviously New Orleans Pelicans, big news tonight. Brandon Ingram goes down with a knee injury. It looked awful in the moment, but like that can shake things up too because the Suns see the Pelicans twice, and Brandon Ingram is a great player. He's a great player for the Pelicans. So if we're playing the Pelicans without Brandon Ingram, that's big. And then on top of that, the Timberwolves are still without Karl Anthony Towns. And like it's very much alive. Like everything is what I'm trying to say. Like everything is still out there in front of the Suns. And it's hard not to like look at tonight and see the bench completely play out of their minds and know that we're still trying to figure things out, where it's like, look, there's still hope. Like we're not locked into the eighth or the seventh seed. You could still move up because the Wolves are coming down. The Pelicans may be on their way down. The Kings are definitely on their way down. And it's like we're on a 2-game winning streak and we take on the Spurs back-to-back nights. You know? This is big.
Easy win. It's there. It's all there.
I hope so. I really hope so. Like, the Spurs are a tough matchup. I think the Spurs are just a tough matchup, but it's also on the road. I won't lie, and I would if I didn't say that I would be very disappointed if we split it. Like, this is, you got to, at this point of the season, like, you got to go and get it. Don't split this. Split with the Pelicans if you have to, if we're talking about splitting. But like, you need, or split with the Clippers, but do not split with the San Antonio Spurs, who aren't even sniffing the playoffs. You need to win those 2 games on the road. And yeah, I mean, they're going on a tough road trip here. San Antonio twice, Denver, OKC, and New Orleans. This is where boys become men. This is where this is where the season, this is make or break. Because if you screw this up and botch this up, like, that's the season, and that's like the little wiggle room that there is right now. Is like, if you do really well, you're going to jump up to the 5th or the 4th seed. But if you suck, and if you turn the ball over like you have been, and if you've been consistently inconsistent, you may find yourself in the play-in. Or at the very worst, you may not find yourself in the playoffs. Because the Rockets are, slowly getting their stuff together. The Rockets are 9-1 in their past 10 games. They're on a 7-game winning streak.
That's crazy. Without Şengün as well.
Yes. You know who also has a 7-game winning streak? The Celtics. The Rockets and the Celtics are the 2 hottest teams in the NBA right now. And yeah, I mean,
and we're going to join them. We're going to be there.
And obviously, and the Rockets are 2 games behind the Warriors, 3 games behind the Lakers. So they're sneaking up on that play-in. So obviously, thank God we're not LA or Golden State talking about this, but it's real. It's real. Very much real.
Last place I want to be is LA.
Last place for anyone to want to be is LA. Traffic sucks over there. They have paper straws, and gas is overpriced, and you can't find a good meal because everything's vegan. So yeah. Can't find a good steak out there.
Yeah, but you said we're gonna split the games?
Mexican food is subpar. No, I use it as an analogy. Like, if you're gonna split with the Pelicans or split with the Clippers, because like those are respectable opponents. But don't split with the Spurs, because you're better than the Spurs. I'm not saying we're gonna split. I'm just saying if we have to split.
Eliminated Spurs. Listen, man, I'm still riding high up. We scored 22 threes this game. That is some Celtics level of threes right there.
Yeah, 22 threes.
And the bench accounted for 9 of them.
You know what?
9 of those threes.
It should have been 23 threes, but the freaking refs took one away from KD. Oh. I hate it when they do that. Just like, let the game play. It's like, and it's so weird because it happened to the Suns like a couple of weeks ago too. And it's like, what? I didn't even know you could do that. It's like, oh, we looked at the replay. Like, who's watching the game like 5 minutes ago and just like, oh, hey, bring that back. We got another comment in here. It says KD is too passive. He needs to be more aggressive looking to score. I completely agree. I think KD wants the game to come to him, and he wants like the perfect situation to start shooting. Look, I don't want to stir drama, but like KD's body language is kind of freaking me out. Like, he just looks a little bit weird. And then like I noticed him and Eubanks were like barking at each other, and KD was frustrated with Eubanks. I mean, rightfully so. It's Eubanks, but But also, like, KD's not safe from all of this. Like, KD, you got to be better, man. You're not safe from all of this. Like, if I would rank the players that have been playing really well, I mean, I put Bradley Beal number one. I would put Nurkic up there. Devin would be up there. Devin consistently brings it. And I would maybe put Kevin Durant right there. But yeah, he's not absolved from the criticism because he's been a little bit lackluster. You look at his last look. Okay, look. I'm gonna bring this up. I'm gonna bring this.
No.
Ever since he went on that incredible run where he was scoring 35, 35, 45, 37, in the past 5 games, he scored 19 tonight, scored 22 last night, scored 11 against Milwaukee, scored 13 against Charlotte, and then scored 20 against Boston. I mean, his shooting percentage isn't that good either. He's not really that good from the 3-point line in those games. So yes, I agree. He needs to be better. He needs to be more aggressive. If he's more aggressive and if he's nailing these shots, then Book and Bradley, they're just going to ride those coattails and clean up whatever's left. I mean, that's the truth of it is if KD's going, the other team's scared because they have no one that can stop KD, but KD's in a slump and it's kind of just up and down, up and down, up and down all season long. But like we need KD to turn it up. 12 games left. Let's go 12-0. Would that be insane?
We're not going 12-0. Listen, as high as I am tonight, no. Stop. It's true. Most of the things you said about KD was very valid, but I think tonight he was just. I think he's satisfactory. Well, no, he was good enough for what he did tonight. Now, I don't think we needed like KD to drop 30 this game because I mean he hit all of his free throws. He went 7-7. He had 3 huge blocks to join along with Eubanks. I think he was pretty satisfactory tonight, except those weird, just lazy passes.
Yeah, lazy passes, not getting back on defense, not helping out on defense. I see Bradley and I see Devin helping out on defense. I see when a turnover happens, they're hauling butt back on defense to do something. I just don't see the same with Kevin Durant. And that rubs me the wrong way. I like my players to not be entitled. And I want them to give 100% every game. And I know it's a back-to-back, but like this is go time, And you know what? KD can just shut me up by dropping 40 in the next game. It's as easy as that. Like if you don't want the criticism and if you don't want the heat, and if I'm wrong by all accounts, go out there and establish and drop 40 against the Spurs on back-to-back nights. Do it. We know you're capable of it. I don't know why you're not doing it on a consistent basis, but whatever. I'm just, I just need them to. I need it to click. Like we're seeing glimpses here and there. Like tonight, the bench was going off. A couple of weeks ago, KD was going off, but we didn't have Devin. And then for a while, injuries, no Bradley, no Devin. I just need to see it click together here in these next 12 games. And here we go. We're here.
We are. And I think tonight was a strong factor towards where we're heading. Because we've seen for the second night in a row, I mean, both nights we've had terrible first quarters. Yeah. But then again, Booker came in again when DeJounte Murray was going off in the first half. Booker was there, set the tone again for the second night in a row on a back-to-back. Somewhat matched his point. He got like 13 points to try and match him. But he got the Suns back in the game with energy and defense and just that intensity. And honestly, 2 solid games on a back-to-back.
Yeah, I'll agree. And I think in retrospect, we took care of business. We beat two teams that we were supposed to that were without their star players. And if you look at the final scores, we won by double digits. And that's what I would expect 2 games ago coming out of Milwaukee and seeing these two opponents. Were there a couple little hiccups in there? Yeah. And I think we can definitely clean it up, especially those freaking turnovers. But yeah, so we're still in line with our prediction. Ashton predicted 5-1 after going into the Milwaukee game. I don't know.
Going to the Charlotte game.
Yes, going into the Charlotte game, and we are 3-1. I thought we were going to go 6-0. Obviously, dropped a game against Milwaukee, but things are going pretty well. I expect to go to San Antonio, have similar games that we did tonight and last night. Like, it's going to be a little hiccup, and San Antonio is going to give us a tough time, but I expect. And it just sucks too because I like the Spurs. I think I like Greg Popovich. I love Wembanyama, so I'm conflicted because I want to see Wembanyama drop 50, but like I don't want him to beat us. Like, go off, but don't ruin my night and the Suns' playoff hopes. Imagine that Wembanyama just kills us and ruins our playoff hopes. Oh God.
Wemby could go for 50 all he wants. I'll challenge him to go to 50. All right, because he don't got the team to score. All right, 50's gonna. That's the only points that Spurs are gonna have is Wemby's 50.
I gotta see something real quick because when we played him,
the 20 points the other guys have. I don't know, man. Spurs not that good.
Yeah, they're definitely not that good. I gotta see something. So we played them on Halloween. That was big. I want to see though. They beat us by 1. That was the crazy end of the game. They fouled Kevin, but we did not have Devin, nor did we have Bradley.
Yes.
So keep that in mind. And then the next night, we did have Devin, but no Bradley. So we had the second game we had Devin. He drops 31, and then we had KD. He dropped 28, but we had no Bradley. So San Antonio is about to feel the wrath of all three, big three. Who am I kidding? Our team sucks. They're not gonna get it together.
I'm ready for another 23-pointer performance. I want Bol to dunk on Wemby. This is my wish list right now. 23 pointers, Bol dunks on Wemby, and it's gonna be a close game, but KD is gonna mug Wemby of the ball and then win the game. The same way they did it to us in October. That's my wish list.
I was just about to say something. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
No, I remember what I was gonna say. I remember a time when I used to watch Phoenix Suns basketball, and I'm like, I can't wait till tonight. I can't. It's gonna be so much fun. Now I'm just like, I sit down and I'm like, I can't. Let's watch the game. And then we see the first quarter, and I'm just like, it's just painstaking.
But we got the win.
We
had 23s. The bench had 47 points.
But it's the Hawks. It's the Hawks. Honestly, the only win that's got me hyped about it, and like I, ran around with my shirt off, waving my jersey, was the Nuggets game. That was the one that I was like, because that's the only like one that you can be like, yo, we beat someone. Beating the Nuggets, even though I don't think the Nuggets are as good as they were last year, but beating the Nuggets is pretty big. It's just about getting quality wins, and we've yet to have one besides that one post All-Star break. But granted, we are having an opportunity to do so. You beat Denver again. You beat OKC in OKC with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Say, for example, if you beat Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell. Oh, my God. If you beat the Clippers with everyone. Oh. And we already beat Sacramento. I'm not too worried about Sacramento, even though I know Sacramento can be really good. But that's it. That's all I got to say. Anything else you got to say before we move on to San Antonio, Ashton?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, we will see you. When's the game? Saturday.
So,
yes. Yeah. We will see you Saturday. Suns are in San Antonio for game 71 of a back-to-back. Not actually a back-to-back. They play Saturday, then they play Monday. But anyways, we will see you then. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for Phoenix Suns content. We will see you then. Go Suns.
Kevin Durant delivers. Gorgeous move for Bradley Beal.
Personally, I feel like that brother needed help.